I'm excited about. I'm excited about.
What's up, card fighters? Raptor11 here.
And I'm Maxon, and we are back with some interesting Vanguard-related news.
Well, not only Vanguard-related, all the games from Bushiroad.
Well, it's Vanguard-related.
It is. You aren't lying, but we need to be more encompassing because Bushiroad Championship Series 2017 has been announced. So, thankfully, they're actually going to streamline some of the events.
I thought I was so hyped, and I figured we're going to stream.
Oh, all of them? No.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like don't do that to me.
No, not this time. So anyway, so
this year we've got 4 games.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting to fit this look and logic, the best game, into the series. But they'll find a way. But they're going to split it into 2 circuits: the spring circuit and the autumn circuit. So basically, it just feels like they've got rid of this Spring Fest sort of stuff and just had, just bring it all into one banner. There's none of this. Also, after you win your regionals or whatever, you go off and do your continental championships.
Yeah.
You just have the winner straight away goes to Japan as well, which is pretty good. I think that is, depending on how many regionals they're going to be. I think
it looks like there's going to be 2. Because there's going to be a spring regional championship and an autumn regional championship, isn't there?
Yes, but it's also regional, so
yeah,
they could be a bit more. They could be 2 of each, and you could be able to participate in both in each circuit, which would be pretty good. Not have them on the same day. So there's also one of the things I actually enjoy about this is the shop challenge that they've introduced as well.
Yes.
So it actually, Vanguard and Bushiroad has had this problem for a while. It's just there are shop tournaments, but they're not really there for anything. They're just to give out promos. They're just basically promo dispensers.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's just to have a local fun tournament.
Yeah, but with this, depending on how many there are going to be a year, is so much better. And it's for Vanguard, Y Schwartz, and Buddy Fight. Sadly not Look and Logic, but, the game's got to grow a little bit. The game's got to grow a little bit, so that's fine. The winner of this also gets what's known as a buy card, which is pretty good. So you can hand that in on the regional championships and get a buy or a double buy. A double buy will probably be for like the really big tournaments. Well, then you've got like 7-8 rounds sort of thing.
Or is that if you win 2 regionals and then you have 2 buy cards? Oh, not 2 regionals, sorry, 2 shop tournaments.
No, you can only hand in one at a time, like 1 for a tournament.
Ah, okay.
That'll be pretty sneaky because then you could be like, I've won 5, so here's my 5, and I automatically go into top 8. So good game.
I thought that's what happened in Germany, though.
No, not Germany. It was Greece.
France, was it? Oh, Greece.
Greece.
That's the one.
Yeah, that was a completely big misunderstanding in how the tournaments work over there. But we won't get into that too much. We're going to concentrate on the goodness of the game. So, going into the actual regionals themselves, there's going to be... There we go, there's the information. So, end of time is not going to be a double game loss anymore. It's actually going to be the extra turns, and then I presume with extra turn it's the winner. Double game loss was really bad for the game.
Yes.
Ties are also bad for any card game unless you can ID purposefully. But I think ties just generally are a bad thing. You can have ties, but they should only be IDs. You should never really tie a game.
Problem in ties in Bushiroad games is it's basically a double loss.
Yeah.
For intents and purposes.
Well, in most games, it's pretty terrible. It was not as bad as like what you think is a tie as a double loss, but really ties, unless I really hate ties. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
He's the best character in Digimon. How dare you?
Hate tie. So after that, the most important news is that Vanguard's actually going to day 2 with a top 32 cuts. It looks like.
Well, it depends how many people are
Yeah,
playing.
so it might actually be for the UK. We have like nearly like 300. So
Does it say if it's
let me-
256 or lower, it's 32. If it's 256 to 511, it's 64. And above 511 participants, 128. So the last couple of like this year was pretty low. This year was pretty low attendance for us. But the year before we had about 500, 400. Was it high 400?
400, yeah.
So we could easily break that 500.
It's all about where they position the tournaments. I think last year was possibly just because it was in a really awkward place to get to.
There's going to be a day 2, which is going to be interesting for people who need to book hotels.
I mean, you were going to book a hotel most of the time anyway, so.
Yeah, but now they have to book for 2 days rather than 1.
No, because you'd get there, book the same day. You play on the same day as.
It depends. Well, some people have to
one.
travel, so they might have to book the Friday night and then the Saturday
I
night.
think you were going to. In all honesty, Max, I think you were going to do 2 days anyway. You most likely have a second game from Vanguard. I would only assume so.
Now we will. Well, I mean, like,
Yeah.
this is the changes that people have to get used to. Is if you're playing Vanguard, you may have to be prepared to. You might have to come back on that day too, and that's awkward for some people. Like we know, a lot of people carpool, so it's going to be the fact that some people might not have a hotel for both days, and what if one of their teammates, or one of the people they've travelled with, makes it? I mean, they're obviously going to have to drop out, and next person goes up. But it also means, like, what if people book both days and they don't get into day 2?
They get to play in a different tournament.
Yeah, it's
that's how
I
it
guess
works usually. So
I mean, I'm looking this more like on the financial side of how that affects people rather than the game.
There's an interesting little clause here on the day 2, and it says the day 2 event may be at a different weekend from the day 1 events. Now that is also very strange and interesting, because
that's quite concerning.
Yeah, because then what's going to happen then? Is it going to be like we're going to have it in a month's time, come back in a month's time, or we're going to hold it in a completely different venue in a month's time?
That's really awkward. Again, like, as I just discussed, booking, travel. I mean, these are always things that affect people in tournaments, but usually it's like once or twice a year. But if it's going to be like, oh yeah, let's do this twice in like a month, or maybe twice in a week, depending on how they want to go with this. I mean, it's nice to see bigger tournaments, but at what cost?
So I think we've also got to just talk about the number of rounds. I think they're actually wrong. I don't think they've actually worked out how Swiss works if you have a very large pool of players.
Generally, Swiss has it depends how many players you have. Depends on how many rounds. Yeah.
They're specifying 7 rounds of Swiss on day 1, but that's and you can carry on.
We had
over.
9 rounds on, and we only had 300 people.
Exactly. But then there's 3 rounds on the next day, which is a continuation on. So that's 10 rounds. So they've sort of pre-booked 10 rounds, but the cut of where you're going to be cutting the slice of people of 32, let's say, out of 256. It's actually it's not as deep as you think after 7 rounds. It's pretty much all the 6-1s at that point. Like a 5-2, a few 5-2s might slip in there. So you're effectively still on this double game loss sort of thing, but you could slip in. It's surprising. It's different. But nothing really that special after that, to be honest, because everything else is the typical rules that we've always had for Weiss and Buddy Fights, and obviously Look and Logic. Look and Logic is now also just 30-minute rounds, best of one, which is the same as Weiss.
But it's going to be Swiss instead. Is it? Yeah, Swiss. They're all Swiss now, aren't they? Mm-hmm. So there's no elimination anymore. It is just play until you drop.
But yeah, Swiss is really good. It's they should never. I don't appreciate free fights too much. I think it's just really just diverges the tournaments off and just breaks away from what you're actually trying to run. And
I think it's just to promote some friendly play rather than a tournament play. I mean, I can understand wanting to promote, but at the same time, it costs room in that tournament space, which you value. And again, like most people, be focusing on the remaining people in the tournament rather than playing their own games. So, I don't know. I mean, people can drop and do whatever usually. So
yeah, the one thing, well, because they've taken free fight away, which I'm happy about, is that maybe we'll get a reduction in promos. I have a big problem, this is just me personally, with how many promos there are that are spat out by Bushiroad. Do you agree? Disagree? It seems
I agree,
like a
there's
lot.
a lot of them.
And it's too much. Because there's one every month, and then there's the special events, and then there's the one in like your sneak.
Well, I have to remember now,
packs.
Look and Logic has entered, so if they are continuing with promos, are we going to get promos for Look and Logic at every tournament?
I would assume so, yes. That's what it looks like. It says here as well. There are, in the prizes, everyone gets a promo edition and a deck holder of the game they play.
So, I don't know, like, unless the promos, like, are really, really good. But I can see what you mean, like, there's so many promos, there don't need to be that many promos. They can just release these cards in sets if they really need these cards to be in print or in circulation. I mean, a lot of the times, because it was a free fight, you would have to do so many free fights and then you get a promo.
Exactly.
Yay. But it's like, the promos generally aren't that good. It's generally just a participation thing. Like, you got a promo, woo. Sometimes they're good, which is quite occasional, and then they're worth loads of money.
But then sometimes they just reprint them anyway, so making them pointless in the end. So really, what was the point of the promo? It's one of those things. I'm just more frustrated that they just keep on thinking, yeah, let's keep on pushing these promos, and not. It's nothing. It's something that people don't actually like care for too much. I don't think they understand that they need so many promos. That Pokemon has quite a few promos, but I'm going to say it's not as strong as this.
Well, they did do. Was it not last year? Year before, where they did the playmats. I thought that was pretty good. They did the
playmats. But
they
now
did
we've
the Fairy
got
Tail ones and the Attack on Titan ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've got the deck boxes now. These bad boys.
I liked it when they did the playmats. I thought that was like something that people actually would want, even if you might not want them, but it's something usable. You know, something useful. And if you like the particular series, then that's great. You've got a mat now. That's mainly towards Weiss, because there's so many series for Weiss. I like the playmats more than I did the promos, though. Just to reiterate again.
I'm just looking for any other information, mainly about inviting the invites. So if you actually have if you have an invite for any game and you win another invite from any other game, that actually gets passed down. So it's your first invite is the one you keep.
Oh, right, okay.
So obviously, if you win two in Vanguard and Weiss, your first one was Vanguard, you keep the Vanguard, and the Weiss gets put down.
Do you not have the option to choose which one you keep?
No.
Oh.
I think that is because they're going to structure this in such a way that they'll have like multiples of 8 in a tournament in the World Championships just to make good numbers and you don't have buys or mismatch of pairings or anything. That's what I think they're going for. Multiples of 4 or 8.
Do we have anything about how many people from each country will be getting through?
No, but I'm assuming it's going to be very similar to what we've had before. Let me bring up my information that I've been accumulating over the last few years. So
they will be doing promo cards still.
Yes.
Yeah.
So typically there are 1, 2, 3, 4. So interestingly enough, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 championships in Europe, and so if you double that, there's 10.
Right. Okay.
So there's possibly 10 total for Europe.
There is actually one change you've not gone over for Vanguard.
Okay, go on.
That deck lists will be needed to be handed in when you come in.
Yes.
Rather than taking the top. Usually we take the top 8. This is something that happens every year. People come in with deck lists and we're like, no, you don't need them until top 8. It's okay. But now you need deck lists to come in.
I think that's so they could actually do their analysis of what clans are, played and all that.
I think it's just to save time on day 2. When there's like 128 people, you can do a deck check.
Yeah, there could be a lot of deck checks.
So doing it at the beginning of day 1.
Yeah, so we can actually force. Yeah. So let's go continue on with how many places there could be. So in USA, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's 13. Double that. There was 13 regionals, this is, and double that, that's 26 possible places. This is if we've kept it the same amount of, regionals / nationals as there were previously and had 2 circuits.
Right, yeah.
Then in the Oceania, Asia, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, there's only 7, sorry. So that's 14. So we've had 14, 20, and 26. So that's 40, and another 10. So that's 50. So we're looking at probably, around that number.
Wow.
Going in.
That's quite a lot.
It is, but that is from around the world and the winner of each tournament. So
that's interesting. So I'm just looking through the information again. At the regional, it's saying there's still going to be free fight side events. That's interesting.
In the FAQ, it's saying this.
In the inside activities, it's saying there's going to be free fight still.
Oh, Bushiroad, what are you doing?
Participation prize, 1 PR card of the game played. 3 matches with 3 different people. I'll redeem another PR card. So they're still doing like a shit ton of PR cards for God knows what reason.
The reason why me and Max are slightly disappointed in this is that it distracts from the tournaments that we're trying to run. Like usually me and Max would be being judges on most of the days, and it just becomes very hectic, especially when we've introduced another game. It's going to get really, really insane of how many people from different judges there are all over the place with the free fights as well.
So look.
Well, I don't think there's any more news than that. So we're looking at a possible 50 total places for the World Championship straight away. Instead of, let me have a look. There used to be literally just 8. It used to be 2 from Europe, 3 from America, and 3 from the Asia Oceania. So really, it looks like they're trying to bring most of them together. which is good.
Hmm.
It's good.
still
Maybe
not
a
all
few
for
more
this,
invites later. I'd be interested if they have introduced something like a series of tournaments where if you've done well over the year, you also get entered through that as well. Not just you have to win this regional. But then again, we'll see.
Okay, that's
Any other final thoughts, Max?
I'm just reading through the side activities again. I'm just going to be concerned, like, depending on how we do it, if we are having a day 2 on, on the same weekend, then that day 2 is going to be really hectic. Because
It's
we're
probably
going
to
to
be actually worse than day 1.
Well, here's the thing I'm looking at. So if it's on the same weekend and we have day 2 with Vanguard, are you telling me we're going to have we're going to have a tournament of Vanguard, Weiss, Buddy Fight, and Look and Logic, and then at the regional level, we're going to have that tournament going on, and then run free fight for Vanguard,
all of the games,
yeah. I mean, obviously, free fight you don't need judges for, but you need people to sign.
You need staff to.
Yeah, you need staff. Yeah, so.
Still.
I'm looking at this like how much staff is this going to require?
Yeah, it's a lot of staff will be necessary for this. But we'll see.
We will see. Other than
But
that,
I'm still optimistic. We've also just like missed the very important thing. Have you seen the Weiss mascot is now on the throne of all the games? Well, who's the Weiss mascot called again?
Sayoko?
Something like that. And she's holding a Weiss card as well, just proving that is possibly better than all the rest. Just going to leave that out there. Let's sign out. See everyone.
I was Googling it. It's going to sound smart.
No, you can never sound smart. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.